I was saying that, like, the sabotage to things being seen,
Mm.
like things being seen properly, like just trying to do this video, we've had about 4 phone and camera issues. Like, my phone that I started the video off on was saying it was going to overheat, so we stopped and we started again, and then it did cut off from overheating. And then I switched on to this phone, and like it was saying that the battery was critically low and it was shutting itself off and
I keep
things. It's
getting these thoughts coming. I don't know whether it's from my soul part or what I felt, or whether it's something saying it to me. But it's like she didn't love me, you know.
yeah.
That's what I keep getting in, you know. I don't know if it's what I felt back then, but I'm just saying that that's coming in a few times since we've been looking at this stuff.
I feel like it's the programming that they did when you were alone and you were isolated. Like me after the rape, I was alone in that room, and we've seen that I had dark energies all
Yeah.
around me working on me, and I think the same thing happened to you.
Because I felt like incredible coldness when I felt that, just saying she didn't love me, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not true, you know. But it's as if people are supposed to all be resentful about, you know, they're supposed to
Yeah.
take on this resentful other energy that isn't really how they'd be feeling, you know, and all be angry at each other and all
It's
this
the fact
rubbish.
that we worked on Riki, you know, because you wouldn't have had any of that, but they were working on you. They were wanting you to believe that she didn't love
doesn't
you,
care.
that
Yeah, all that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
Because if you buy into that, you become a harsh, bitter person who can be used to hurt people,
That's
or
essentially,
it'll
yes,
put you
bitter,
into
yeah. That's what it is,
addictions and everything. It's like to really work
Yeah.
on the wound to make the wound deeper, so you
it's
don't.
like if you you end up going, oh bugger it, you know, I'm going to smoke a spliff, I'm going
Yeah.
to drink.
Nobody fucking cares
nobody
anyway,
cares,
so
yeah.
I'm
These are the
gonna.
ideas that get put into our head, you know. This doesn't come from us, you know. This idea doesn't come from. It's not like as if we're watching TV and TV saying no one cares, no one cares.
No.
You know, this is something we take these thoughts on as if they're our own. You know, so many people say they aren't. You know, they're not aware of spirit and stuff. You know, but they've not seen that own voice in their head that is actually.
They've not realised, a lot of people, that some of the thoughts or the ideas that come into their head aren't even their own, because it's in the tone of their own voice, their own internal voice.
And most of the people who've been trying to get this awareness out there haven't been strong enough to be able to actually help people understand it, so they just get seen as nutters, you know, because they don't see how deep it actually is, that it's, in a way they can go, hang on, oh yeah, actually maybe, you know.
They
maybe
make it very,
makes kind of
very
sense.
hard for us to be like cohesive and consistent in how we put these kind of messages across.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, like, because we are trying to show this and make the awareness out there more. I mean, we do get so much shit. You know, we really do get worked on because we have that intention of bringing awareness to this stuff, because when it's stuff inside people's own heads, it's like it's really not easy to show.
No.
Especially when it's getting coupled with our own feelings.
Yeah, there's always a reason.
Yeah. There's something that they can hook into, you know, like the feeling, the hurt from leaving your mum. You know, there was enough emotional pain there for them to then be able to work and manipulate. You know, if there's nothing there, they've got nothing they can use.
And then what happens with people who, you know, end up feeling suicidal, end up going to that extra place where it's terrible? It's like something grinding something in, you know, grinding it in so much that the person.
Because I can feel
breaks.
that, I can feel the grins with that again, because they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly where to stick the knife in that bit further, to twist it a little bit, to rub the salt or the vinegar into the wound. Like, they know exactly how to torture us. That's basically what it is.
In the Bible, you know.
It's fucking torture and torment.
Yeah, I didn't want to believe that that's what really is happening, you know, and that's fine. I can go back down that path again, and I could easily. I'm more likely to fall down that path of believing that it's all bullshit, because that is what's done to us. You know, we are made to believe.
And we've gone through that. How many times have we gone through believing that this stuff is just our feelings, just our trauma, you know?
But this is the great revealing of our time. No shit, like, this is the great revealing of our time on the planet now is the great.
To actually realise how much manipulation has been done to humankind.
Yeah, And also how much good stuff there is on our side, you know,
Oh
our
yeah,
grandparents, you
yeah.
know, there's a lot of love out there, you know, in spirit.
Because that's the thing, you know, like the thing with this is that it shows up the true goodness of humanity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like the amount of work that we're all having done on us, it'd be very easy for us all to be horrible people.
Yeah.
But most people are really trying
and in
to
both
do the right
sides of
thing.
my family, although there is these other energies there, you know, there is that truth in them that has always, you know, been there, the goodness of the soul, and it can't be that these energies can't wipe that out. You know, they can only get us to align when we are upset by something, or at those times, you know,
when they can create an emotional charge and
which
try
is
and
what all
set
the TV,
people off.
all the you know, emotional drama and the reaction is
to
about.
stir up the nervous system, to stir up the fight-flight kind of energies in people. Because then if that energy can be stirred up or something can be used to trigger it, it's very easy to like fire people off against each other.
This is essentially what the whole thing, the agenda about people not feeling emotions is about, so that our emotions build up.
So that we're scared of them.
And all this, scared of them. I mean, there's nothing scary about emotions. It's
especially if they're allowed to move and to flow when they're there.
Yeah, it's scary when it builds up.
Yeah, because that's the thing, you know, like they work on people to stop them expressing in the moment, you know, just in a healthy way.
And I saw it when
so
I was
that
younger,
it builds.
then when I smashed some stuff up. But, you know, I was smoking weed at the time. I had suppressed my feelings day after day after day after day after day.
I saw the self-harm with that as well, because the smoking was self-harm too.
Yeah.
But I saw the physical self-harm.
We don't realise what we've done. It's like on a very, very deep level, we would be living very different than when we are now. Because I've felt this recently, you know, we would be living with reverence for everything, with a gentle slowness.
And
not
gratitude.
This busy, gratitude, not this busy rush around stuff, you know. Like, it's not the truth of humanity, you know. We've been so taken out of it.
And I could feel the smirks again with that.
Okay. That's it. So these energies are revealing themselves, you know, but only with us for some reason, you know, because we're aware of it more. But they do, you know, you see them in everybody.
It's the fact that they're so sure of themselves, you
Absolutely,
know.
100%.
Because we can try and put this message out,
like,
and the number of people who will actually be able to hear us will be extremely few, because virtually everybody else would just write it off as nonsense or nutters or whatever else. And like, how do you get past those sort of guards?
But when those people actually connect with their truth and their true emotion, their true spirit, you know, it's a different thing. But we need those moments in life where we can connect with that. And the whole system that we live in, the whole work society that doesn't focus on heart, doesn't focus on that there is time. You know, these are all rules and things that have been brought in that are alien to the human design and blueprint. You know, they're alien ideas, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know.
I needed to say as well that it's about starting to be aware, like watching your thoughts, realising the thoughts and the emotions that come in, you know, even though like they'll probably feel like your own to start off with, when you can actually acknowledge them. Because like I used to have like awful thoughts came in at times, you know, and like I'd feel really bad for having had those thoughts, you know, so then that I would add a wave of guilt or a wave of shame that could be fed off, you know. It's like in modern psychology we're often being made to own and accept everything, and it's really unhealthy.
Very, very dangerous, that.
Yeah, it's not right, because it's also, it exacerbates the soul splitting, because then it's like it's making our like child parts or other soul aspects of us feel more hurt and alienated as well. And it's like hitting home that idea that we're bad if we take it all on. And it's just,
we've really got to get to grips with this in humanity at the moment, you know, and this message again that we are at an essential time to understand this and unveil the truth again, because we can't move forward this same way that we are living, you know. If it all was our own shadow, then we'd have been able to sort it out, you know. If it all was our own stuff, we'd have been able to fix it, and we'd be living a more balanced. I'm not saying we're supposed to live in harmony all the time, you know,
The
certain
thing
amount
is,
of
we
pain is
sort
good
of
for growth.
naturally would, though. That's the thing.
Well, it's just
Because
we're
so
natural.
much of the pain is being caused by what these energies are doing, setting us all up against each other.
It's like there's, I mean, it's very difficult, you know, when people can't see it, that it's there, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what me and Katie are going to put out is will be so clear and so precise and so be able to relate to your own lives, you know, to people's own lives, that
to help people start to see it for themselves, because people have got to start to see it for themselves. Otherwise, it's just going into the filters.
Because you shouldn't believe what I say, you know, but I should at least be able to stand here and say, well, I feel this. It might be worth having to look to see whether you feel the same, you know, sort of thing. And if someone does, then they do, and if they don't, they don't. But point is, we feel that this information is going to be very helpful to a lot of people who have had.
Well, it's just it's needed because we're all being bloody tortured. You know, like so many people have got like shame or feeling bad or
you know, the depression and stuff, and the amount that humanity is being pulled down, and the answer is supposed to be the drugs and all the stuff. You know, me and Katie do feel that these energies are feeding off people's pain. You know, the thing is when you cut away those foods that you're addicted to, and that is the main point. It's when you're being addicted to something, that there's something going on there that's weakening your energy, that brings you down into the lower astral realm. And that is the place where these entities or these other energies exist and can influence the body. When we eat things that are in harmony with nature, it raises us.
It's like separating us. Most people are walking around just as heads. It's like they're not actually in touch with their emotional body, like the emotions that are stored in their system.
And more, because there is more in the senses. There is more that we pick up from this world, you know, and a video like this, you know, you have to be able to click with something and you go, that's the thing, God, what you said there, maybe I didn't get the rest of that, but what you said there, I clicked with that.
I related to that
and
bit.
Then when you hear that, you open, and then you can hear the rest of what someone's saying. But otherwise it's like as if someone's just saying like loads of gibberish, and it sounds like, oh, they're like hippies on a cloud, you know, like they're
But it is
nutters.
about that we're being pushed away from being embodied. You know, they aren't wanting our soul and our wholeness. They don't want us to integrate our emotional pains. They don't want us to integrate our story and our timeline in this life. They want to keep us separated from ourselves and each other.
In a floaty sort of, what's that?
Don't know.
In a more floaty mind state, you know, and not feeling really alive and present and here, you know. Over thousands of years we've got caught in houses, in having a perfect temperature all the time, perfect environment, but it numbs us out, you know, the TV, all the stuff, everything about this reality that people are living is about putting us asleep and cutting us off from our truth. And it's, instead of feeling like these videos about judgments, people need to realise that this is about them losing and not having their full potential. We've got massive potential in this life.
Yeah, if we're integrated, because our emotional energy is very, very powerful, which is why all this stuff is being done, really. But, you know, if we are integrated, if we're embodied, if we're grounded into our system on the earth, that is it's a power source. If we are actually in sync with ourselves, if feelings move through in the moment, if we can be with that feeling and not be afraid of it, because like they are doing these things to us, but it's also that we've all been made to feel afraid of our feelings, so we are conspiring with these energies to blank and to numb and to get away from.
It's all programs, and that's the weird thing, you know, like the analogy with the whole computer thing that's come out now, because we've had computers in the last however many years. There is some truth to it. I think it's going a bit far for some people and are not realising that they're losing their understanding with it a bit. But the general understanding is that we've cut off from our emotional body more, and we're on these machines all the time. We are not interacting properly and sending and receiving the signals from each other properly. There was a lot more of that, but I'm not sure.
I think it's why there's so much isolation as well, because it's like in theory we're connecting with all these people, but it's like other parts of us are not recognising it as connection.
Yeah, it's not the true
and
connection.
We're actually getting more and more isolated, because the true connection, the heart connection of looking truly in somebody else's eyes, of feeling for them, feeling with them, isn't being there.
Yeah.
You know.
The you know, especially children who've been through the trauma, who get affected by these entities, you know, they are made to be secretive. You know, they don't know that they're doing it. They are made to hide things, you know, are pulled around the wrong people, you know. That's why it matters who we're around. You know, everything's vibration, and, you know, it depends what you want to go through in life. But the thing is when a person's been traumatised, it weakens their auric system so much that they are very affected by other people that they're around, you know, more so than normal.
The barriers, the protection around the aura has been broken.
It's
with
about
the soul
taking
splitting.
the child out of its protection. You know, this is a systematic thing.
If they can split up families, you know, like the child isn't protected anymore, and the adult has very deep wounds, so like they're not protected anymore either.
No, yeah, you're.
Yeah, my back's hurting holding this up.
I'll just take that a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been going through all this stuff, and you know, like I said, I went to see a psychologist, and I said about like I was holding my sister's hands. You know, I had my sister on each of my hands. You know, it was bloody amazing, because in that time in my life, I felt really. I was just really here, you know, and present, and really enjoying my life, you know. And then after that time, when I left my mum, I can see myself being more like, you know, oh, I don't know, you know, you go and play in the sea, you know, I'll just sit back here, you know. It's more feeling like you don't want to do stuff, you know. I spent a lot of time avoiding PE at school, you know, a lot of time avoiding interaction with other people. Found these things very difficult, you know. So we need to all raise more awareness about this, but I'm sure loads of people are doing all that on YouTube. The specific message that me and Katie have got is really about what these beings are doing to people and how they're affecting them, you know, and the mind and the emotions. And this whole thing about trauma is all part of the control. And the control on this planet goes very, very deep, and I lose my awareness of it many, many times, but then I see again. And when I go into town,
that all the time, aren't we?
Yeah, we keep dropping and then being aware, you know. So basically, you know, the main thing is that humans are fundamentally not connected to their deeper awareness. You know, we are running on a very low level. In other words, we are infinite potential, you know, so we're like a computer that's got infinite potential, but something has happened to the human race to make it so it operates on a very low level. And when that happens, we don't see around us. It's like those times, you know, when we don't see what's going on around us, you know. Those times we're so caught in our worries or whatever, you know, and the option to get out of our problem is right there by us, but we can't see it because we're so caught in. So humanity's dropped so low down the ladder of, you know, down the generations, each generation, wound after wound, and not realise what's really going on, and not learnt how to heal and connect ourselves back up to our spirit, that we don't even believe we have a spirit anymore, you know. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and not say loads more, because the whole thing isn't as deep as I want, you know, and there'll be infiltration and interference, and people won't see what I'm saying right unless I'd be really in my truth. So, you got anything else to say, Kay?
Just that there's so much more going on than
I don't even know if that's it's recording.
They're allowed to realise. You know, they don't want people being aware of these things.
And people have.
And why we've got to do it.
It's like, you know, we're made to feel unsure of people who talk about spirit, and, you know, but I mean, well, there's more to say later time anyway. Anyway, cheers.